Thank you so much for joining us. This week we have a one-on-one interview with former VP Mike Pence, our first interview since he launched his campaign for president last month. I sat down with Pence Monday morning, just 2 days before fellow Republican presidential candidate Ron DeSantis came here to Indiana to raise money for his campaign. It's a GOP primary still dominated by former President Donald Trump, who still leads among Republican voters even amidst his ongoing legal troubles, and as candidates like DeSantis and Pence try to become the new face of the GOP. Indiana's former governor has spent a lot of time this year out in Iowa campaigning for the Republican nomination for president. But here in Indiana, he's also trying to pick up more endorsements and more donors for his campaign, still short of the number of small donors needed to qualify for the debates later this summer. Pence did recently get endorsed by his successor as governor, Eric Holcomb, and by Indiana's House Speaker, who was at his campaign launch in Iowa. But this week, one of Pence's opponents is also getting support from a group of Indiana Republicans who are hosting a fundraiser in Hamilton County for Governor Ron DeSantis. Pence has been critical of DeSantis for his stance on the war in Ukraine, which the Florida governor once called a territorial dispute. Last month, Pence traveled to Ukraine and met with President Zelensky. This week, Pence says he supports the move to send cluster ammunitions to Ukraine, but also said the Biden administration needs to do even more. And I'm here now with former Vice President, former Indiana Governor, and now candidate for President, Mike Pence. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Good to see you, Dan. Always good to be home.
Our first time chatting since you've become officially a candidate now for president.
It is.
As you hit the campaign trail there, in Iowa especially, and prepare for the debates later this summer, it's clear that Iowa will be a crucial contest for your campaign. Similar state to ours in some respects. What are you hearing from voters there? You had a noteworthy exchange there recently with a Trump supporter about your role on January 6th.
I did. Well, mostly what I've heard from people all across Iowa is that the Biden administration has weakened America at home and abroad. And I think there's a great desire for change. I think people know we need new leadership in the Republican Party, and we need new leadership in the White House. And we've gotten a tremendous amount of encouragement. You know, I would tell you, we walked in a parade just outside Des Moines on Independence Day, and for all the world, I felt like it was an old parade I was doing in Newcastle, Indiana. It felt like home in so many ways. Karen and I got an incredibly warm reception. We traveled to a lot of little small towns and had town hall meetings and had great discussions, and really had the opportunity to talk about the issues that people care the most about, but also address any questions people have about our service, particularly from those tumultuous days at the end.
You stated to that particular voter it was your constitutional role, as you've said in interviews with us and elsewhere and in your book. Certainly that exchange is at the heart of this Republican primary in many respects, in the sense that there are still Trump supporters who side with him and not with your actions on January 6th. How difficult of a sales job is that to let people know that your role was, in your view, the only thing you could do constitutionally that day?
Well, as I've said many times, I'll always believe by God's grace that we did our duty that day under the Constitution. It's not that there weren't irregularities in the election, but we went to the courts. We were prepared to hear objections in the Congress of the United States, but my role as vice president was to preside over a session that would open and count the electoral votes. And I have to tell you, I appreciated the opportunity to speak to that woman at the Pizza Ranch that day, and I was very moved after the event that she told one of the cable networks that she appreciated that I was a man of faith, and she also would consider voting for me. And I think there's a misunderstanding about that, but I can be honest with you, Dan, what I mostly hear about those days is people thanking me. People stop me at the airports, they stop me at the local Krogers, stop me as I travel around the country, and they appreciate the stand that we took. And I want people to know as I entered this race for president that I'll always stand on the Constitution of the United States of America.
Here in the Hoosier State, you recently picked up endorsement from your successor as governor, Governor Eric Holcomb, also the Indiana House Speaker, a couple members of Congress. Are you hoping the governor's endorsement will spur additional endorsements from Indiana Republicans? Senator Young, perhaps, who certainly has made it clear that he won't be supporting the former president this year.
Well, I'm very grateful to have Governor Holcomb's support, and and also Speaker Todd Houston and other luminaries here in the state of Indiana. The support that we've had at events here in Indianapolis and Fort Wayne. This week I'll be in Evansville and Jasper. Has really been very moving to me as a Hoosier. I think people really want to see a Hoosier on that debate stage, and people are helping us do that. We've actually got to have 40,000 individual donors before that August 23rd debate, and I would tell your viewers, they can go to MikePence2024.com, just donate $1, and they'll help us make sure we're on that stage.
Are you close to that threshold, or it's still a long way to go?
We are. We're right on track to achieve that goal, and the support we're receiving from around the country means a great deal, but frankly, the support from here at home in Indiana means that much more.
So speaking of Indiana Republicans, there's an event this week not far from your home here in Indiana, a fundraiser for Governor Ron DeSantis being put on by some Republicans here in Indiana. Not clear how much money DeSantis will be able to raise here, but the fact that he's coming here, is that concerning to you, or does it signal more of a brewing battle here between the two of you ahead of the primary next year?
No, look, it's a free country, and I've just been overwhelmed at the outpouring of support here in Indianapolis and in Fort Wayne, and as I said, later this week in Evansville, Indiana. I think people know the Pences. They know our service from the Congress of the United States. They know my leadership as governor, a time that we cut taxes and balanced budgets and left Indiana with more people working than ever before in our history. So I'm happy to have any candidates come through Indiana and tell their story, but the support that we've gotten from people across Indiana is very humbling to me, and I'm incredibly grateful, and it's really making it possible for us to be in this fight all over the country.
You have been critical, though, of Governor DeSantis and some of the positions he's taken in the past on Ukraine. You recently made a visit there and met with the Ukrainian president.
I did.
What do you want Hoosiers and Americans more broadly to know about the situation there, particularly as some in your party take a somewhat different approach to how we should be handling the situation?
Yeah, look, despite what others have said, the war in Ukraine is not a territorial dispute. It was a Russian invasion. It was an act of naked aggression by Vladimir Putin. And as a leader of the free world, I think it's absolutely essential that the United States of America continue to provide the Ukrainian military what they need to repel the Russian invasion. For this reason, first and foremost, I have no doubt that if Vladimir Putin overruns Ukraine, it won't be too long before the Russian military crosses a border where we have to send our armed forces in to fight under our NATO treaty. And so I'm somebody that believes in that old Reagan doctrine. If you're willing to fight our enemies on your soil, we'll give you what you need to fight them there, so our men and women in uniform aren't going to have to face them and fight them someday, defending our interest and our allies. But look, I will also say to you, Dan, I've been very candid. I think President Biden has done a terrible job explaining our national interests there. And also, the administration has been slow providing armaments. They promised 33 Abrams tanks in January, as President Zelensky reminded me 2 weeks ago when we visited overnight, that they still don't have the tanks. They're still waiting on an approval of F-16s. I know there's much press this week about the transfer of cluster bombs.
Is that a move you support?
I fully support it. It's important to note the Russians have been using cluster bombs for 1.5 years against the Ukrainian military. Look, this is war. I think it's imperative that we provide them with the means. The Ukrainian military has demonstrated their toughness. Remember, Vladimir Putin said this thing was going to be over in a week. The Biden administration actually offered to send a plane to pick up President Zelensky. He said, I don't need a plane, I need ammunition. They fought and fought hard, even though the United States has been slow in providing that support. I think we give them what they need. They can fight and win, repel this Russian invasion. And not only will Europe be more secure, but the United States will be more secure as a result.
You've been logging a lot of frequent flyer miles there in Ukraine, Iowa, and elsewhere. Back to Iowa here in the coming days, I'm sure.
I'll be back to Iowa before the end of the week, and off to New Hampshire soon, and the early states. But I have to tell you, to be home in Indiana for a couple days this week, to be enjoying the support that we're getting from Hoosiers. People going to MikePence2024.com, signing up, not only getting us on that stage, but giving us the means to go out and tell our story, which in a very real sense is an Indiana story, and about how we'll bring those Hoosier values and those Hoosier principles to the White House.
Well, thanks for the time while you're here. We appreciate it.
You bet, Dan.
All right, Pence also making some newsworthy comments on abortion this week. We'll talk about that with our panel coming up. Also, former AG Curtis Hill now running for governor. Hear what he's saying and what others are saying about his campaign next.